once again we were woken up by some of the biggest tremors we've felt yet. The building that we were staying in was shaking, the windows rattling. They happen repeatedly over the course of several hours, and that's of course causing quite some alarm. And the volcanologists, the scientists, say that they're not sure if this means that there's going to be another eruption or not. That's why the evacuation order has stayed in place, and that's why thousands of people have fled, including many here to the town of Sake. It's about 20 kilometers from Goma, along the lakeshore, away from the volcano. And this church has become home to hundreds of people who slept inside for the last night. A lot of them are cooking outside here now, but they don't have much food to cook. They say they've been desperately short of food and other supplies since they arrived here. Some of them had their homes destroyed. Others had to make difficult decisions on leaving, because if they do abandon their homes, what's been happening, the people we're speaking to say that their homes get looted. So some chose to stay behind, others have fled following that evacuation order to try and find safety. But we spoke to some of the people in Goma who've been affected by this. Let's take a look at that story.
People who've lost everything salvage what they can from a pile of smouldering hot rocks. A few days ago, this was a river of lava. It came gushing out of Mount Nyiragongo, Africa's most active volcano, into the city of Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Samuel Kambale's neighborhood is gone. His house caught fire before it was engulfed. All that's left are the charred remains of a tree he once planted to mark his land.
The volcano was lighting up. It was a panic almost everywhere. So I took my family, put them on my motorbike, and sent them into town. I stayed behind to keep an eye on the situation.
People we spoke to who evacuated early say their houses were looted. That's why some stayed, to protect homes and livelihoods until the last minute. Not everyone got away in time.
Muhindo Binyeni Nicola has been missing since the eruption. He used to trade groceries on the street from a stall just like this one. He's a young man in his early 20s. His family put up the posters around the neighborhood. He lived in a home just down here, and their fear is that he was engulfed by the river of lava when it came crashing through the city. And now it's turned into a pile of sharp, heavy rocks. It seems the chances of finding him now are slim.
Since the initial eruption, new earth tremors started, and they just haven't stopped. Adalbert Muhindo and his team of volcanologists have been monitoring them. He's barely slept for the last week. Tremors came before the past eruptions. They're trying to work out why, this time, they started after.
Late at night, we started feeling the strong ones. On the day of the eruption, there was no sign of tremors. Nobody felt it. It was that night and the following day when people started feeling those earthquakes.
Nobody knows if that means another eruption is coming, so parts of the city have been declared a red zone. More than 400,000 people have fled to other towns. Many of them are sleeping rough.
We left as the authorities told us to. When we arrived, the first problem was no food and no water, so we decided to come back. Then we found that everything had been stolen from our house. So we are going to stay in this red zone, whatever will happen. We prefer to die here instead of going somewhere else.
The province has been under the control of a military governor for the past 3 weeks because of ongoing conflict with armed groups in the countryside. The army has said help is on its way to the displaced people. Swathes of the countryside and parts of the city have been devastated. Nobody knows if it's over yet or not.
The local administrator for this district announced just a short while ago that they found 8 cases of cholera, 6 here in the town of Sake, 2 in another town. And it's certainly no surprise if you look at the conditions here and the sanitation. There's just one water point, which is over there, which has been used since we've been here by hundreds of people. They've been queuing up with the yellow plastic containers to collect water, which they need for cooking and for drinking. The latrines that belong to the local community living around here are completely inadequate for this massive influx of people that's just turned up in the last few days. A lot of the locals have locked their latrines to try and protect themselves and protect their own sanitation, and so it's definitely not a safe situation for a lot of the people living here, that's staying here, who fled, and that's why some people we've spoken to have decided to actually go back to Goma and take their chances there. But something else that really doesn't help is a lack of clear information. There's a lot of confusion about what's going on. What do the tremors mean? Is assistance coming here or not? When is it coming? As one woman said to me, Congo help is slow, she said, and indeed it has taken very long for these people to get any help indeed. They're still waiting up until now.